What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 242 of Opinions May Vary. I am your host, JR, making my grand return. There it is. I have, of course, my lifeblood, my anchor, the man who covered for me, did an interview alone. Like when we had to do the episode without Alex, like I just had my friends on.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm just gonna have I'm just gonna have Joe and Colin on, and we're just gonna whatever. You still kept the show going. You're like, I'm gonna do a quality piece. And anyways,
it's got to be theme appropriate,
right? Yeah, yep. But I have Alex with me.
Hey,
of course,
hi.
Of course, the boys are back in town, I guess.
The engineer is back at the controls.
There it is. Hopefully everything sounds okay. Our board was giving us some snuff, but I think we figured it out, at least for now. At least like a temporary fix. So we'll get it straightened out. For like a hot second there, I was like, holy shit, are we not? Because it's Saturday night. We don't have time to put off for. Anyways.
Just run to the store and buy new cables. A new soundboard.
Right. I'll hit up Eddie again.
Hey, can we borrow a soundboard?
Back to Craigslist. So I am back after my week off, which didn't really feel like a week off because I was working a lot. But it feels good to be back. We're going to talk about some shit going on. We were at New York Comic Con a couple weeks ago. We're going to briefly touch on that, even though it was almost a month ago, which is kind of freaky.
Last year we still put it in the middle and made up with it to do like some Halloween talk after Halloween was over. But I figured we'd try to keep it in place.
Yeah,
and save it for later. Which, if you recall, Kirby's been waiting for this. Kirby was like, "I look forward to you talking about New York Comic Con," and we were like.
Yeah. We're going for one day and we're going to be really busy. But I keep hearing this high pitch. It's driving me nuts right now in my headphones.
Might be my computer.
Maybe. If you can hear that, I apologize.
It's my device.
We'll try and be better next time. For now, just ignore it. I'm going to try to myself, even though I can't. It's all I can hear right now.
It's definitely my computer. Because I hear it without the headphones when we're not recording.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we wanted to talk about, because it's just us, there's no guests this week, kind of easing myself back into it. We have some really cool shit lining up in the coming months, and I'm really excited for it. Some really cool potential people coming on the show. Like we always have cool people, but like, people that probably wouldn't have come on a year or two ago. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. This week it's just us. Let's talk about Blizzard.
Like when the snow comes down.
No. Which we already did have a snow this year.
Yeah, up here in New England.
We live in the New England. We had a snow a week ago?
Yeah.
Ish?
2 weeks ago.
And at first it was like, oh yeah, it's fluttering a little bit, and then it started to stick, and then there were accidents,
and people were freaking out. And I'm like,
bread and milk.
We had a blizzard 7 years ago that knocked out power for 8 days.
Yeah.
Have you forgot? Did you forget that happened? You're panicking now.
I slept in front of my parents' fireplace for a week.
We live in New England. Come on, we got this.
Yep.
We're really used to it.
Yep. I mean, to be fair though, I kind of loved it.
Yeah.
That storm,
because
like it was me and my current wife at the time. We were, she's just my girlfriend, my brother and his fiance, my sister, and like my parent, and we all just like packed into my parents' living room, because like my brother and his fiance, they had a condo in Suffield, and at the time I was in the basement, and like we just packed in the living room and slept in front of the fireplace. And I loved it. Like we read books, and then we fell asleep at like 8:00 because that's when it got dark. And then we'd wake up, and I was at the bookstore then, in like receiving, and like the store was just mobbed because people needed to charge their stuff. They needed to get out of the house, so they would come to us because we were attached to the mall, so we had power. So literally, like, I've never, like, Holiday had nothing. People were like clamoring for power strips and outlets, and they were like, "Where are your?" Like, they were. It was kind of scary at times because people were like, "I need to charge my stuff," and it's like, well, do you like?
I slept like crap for those days because at the time I had a water bed.
Oh.
And if you don't have the heater turned on,
a little cold,
the water gets cold.
A little cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we had a spare bed. It was like, if I can't make it through this one, I'm just going to move to the other bed.
Yep. But that was an interesting time.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and I went to New York City in the middle of that to see Chuck Palahniuk speak. Because Damned had just come out, which the book was okay, but it was more about I love that man.
Right.
And he had I'm sure I've told this story like a million times on the show before.
I don't think you have.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic.
No, there is an episode where I was like, guys, let's talk about live events that we've gone to that we've enjoyed. And Will was here for that. And you were like, okay, so comics. And I was like, I thought we were going to talk live events.
Oh. I don't remember that.
And you were like, you read that? And I was like, Jerry, I told you I haven't read comics in 3 months.
I'm a piece of shit. Yeah, I went to see.
I'm not up to date on any comics. I want to talk about live shows.
Let's talk about live shows.
By the way, I've seen Blue Man Groups like 6 times.
Yeah, I went to see Chuck Palahniuk. He's my favorite author.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone has read his stuff, it's kind of out there, a lot of it. Like, if you've seen Fight Club, he wrote Fight Club before it was the movie. Personally, I like the book better. I know I'm in the minority. It's one of those few things where everyone is like, the movie is better.
You can see Justin Hammer in Choke.
Yes. Yeah, Sam Rockwell is in the movie version of Choke, which the book, again, much better.
I didn't see the movie. I read the book. But somehow I read the airplane chapter like 10 years before the book came out.
It may have been
because it was an issue. It was an issue of Playboy.
Yeah. That's how a lot of his books. Not a lot of his books, but
which I read for the articles.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously. When I saw him, he read an article that he had published in Playboy about a story of a man who falls in love with a woman, and it's never officially said that she's like mentally challenged. It's just she does quirky things.
Yeah.
But he loves her, and he loves this woman, and even though she does weird things, like yell out at random times and like throw poop at people. I can't remember if that's legitimate, but like yell at people on the bus, and he loves her, and it's a really nice story, but it's very Chuck. It's weird.
Yeah.
And it was he released a book of short stories about a year and a half ago, and it was in that book, and I was like, oh, I saw him read this. He read this to me once, and a crowd. But we
bedtime,
and we went to go see him in New York because the Strand, which is one of my favorite bookstores in the world, was doing an event with him. Me and my wife went in the midst of that big storm.
Yeah.
And he like one of the first things he did, he was like, hey, anyone want to do it like a contest? And we're like, what's going on? And he starts handing out inflatable brains.
Okay.
And he's like, okay, the first person to inflate this, you're going to get some like free stuff, like signed stuff and book plates and what. And he called the tour. He's like, the tour is, it's called the Blow Your Brains Out Tour. Yeah. So you guys, whoever blows their brains out first wins. Mm-hmm. So you have to blow up the brain.
I dig it. How big were these things?
They were pretty big. Like
like
people,
not brain size, but like beach ball size or something, or
like larger than a beach ball.
No shit.
They were big brains. And initially I was like, oh, I'm going to watch this from afar, but I kind of wish I got one of the brains. And then he did it again later on in the show with like inflatable skeletons. They're a little bit smaller, and like he gave out some free swag. And he read that story about the woman the dude falling in love with that woman. And he took some Q&As. And one guy came up and pretty much said, hey, I like this one book that you did, but why do all your other books suck? And like everyone was like, what the fuck? It was awesome. But my favorite part of that show was waiting in line outside in New York City very windy
Mhm.
in October when there just had been a massive snow. It was freezing. And hearing all the different people's pronunciations of his last name. Because everyone thinks that they have it right.
Poloniak.
Yeah, I believe, and I heard him say his name, I think a couple times.
Uh-huh.
I believe it's Palahniuk.
Uh-huh.
It's spelled Palahhinuk. So when people come up and said, "Is this the line for?"
Yeah.
Nobody said it. It was amazing. I heard they add so many Palahniuk, like people butcher this name. Is this the line? And like, yes, it's the fucking line. But that was my favorite. Not my.
Is this line for Chuck? Chuck who? Who?
Who's Chuck?
Which Chuck you looking for?
Yeah, you know,
Mr.
You're being kind of ambiguous here.
You know, Pala.
Glad to Veronica, though. But it made waiting in the freezing cold. Gotcha. Got you with that one.
That came out of nowhere.
Yep.
That was real smooth. You deserve a sticker.
I'm a big fan of Army of Darkness. That movie. First time I saw Army of Darkness, I'm just going on tangents this whole episode. First time I saw Army of Darkness, I was like, this movie is the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It was right at the part where the eyeball was in his shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
and like he split off in like a little, you know. And I was like, this is great. This movie's hilarious. And I was like, Army of Darkness, great movie. Bruce Campbell, famous B actor. Oh my god, I love Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna watch Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Let's watch Evil Dead.
Yep.
And I pop in Evil Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is fucking terrifying. What am I fucking watching? It scared the shit out of me because I thought I was, because Army of Darkness is kind of like the horror comedy, know, like Idle Hands. It's kind of scary, but it's mostly funny.
Yeah.
And absurd.
There's an evil version of him with armor for some reason.
And he's burned. And I thought Evil Dead would be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Evil Dead scared the shit out of me the first time I saw it. And Evil Dead 2 was even scarier. In my opinion.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, Chuck Palahniuk, he's a great guy. His books haven't been gripping me quite as much as when I first got into him, because I just tore through his library. Like, I read Fight Club at work one night because it's a short book.
Yeah.
And then, like, my wife, girlfriend at the time, it's weird addressing that. She had already read all of his stuff, so she's like, okay, read this next. Now read this next.
Okay.
So I was just flying through his stuff. I think I read all of his books that were out at the time in the span of like 2 weeks. And I loved all of them. Except for Rant. I didn't like Rant. Didn't like that one. I don't know if you ever read that one.
No.
But like Survivor, amazing book.
So was that the signing that you ultimately like kind of had a problem with?
What do you mean?
Because usually, like, that story comes with a little bit of a gripe, which I think like everyone's got a different opinion of it. But he wasn't signing the books themselves; he was signing the book plate.
No, he signed the books.
Oh, okay. What was the book plate thing? What was that from? Was that something else?
Recently,
I can't.
Maddox was doing the book plates, that was like the same day. Because when me and my wife had gone to New York City, we went up there early so we could kind of explore the city a little bit, even though like it's kind of foreign and didn't really want to go too far.
Yeah.
But we wanted to go to the flagship Barnes and Noble.
Uh-huh.
Because it's like, oh hey, it's a company we work for, cool. And it's like the first one or whatever it was, and like it was kind of run down and beat shit. I thought it was like the big extravagant one, but no, it's like the small one that's like a nook.
Okay.
And later that day, Maddox from the Best Page in the Universe was doing a book signing there for his the Crappy Kids artwork.
Yeah.
This back before it was called Crappy Children's Artwork. It was called I'm Better Than Your Kids or something like that.
Your kid's artwork sucks or something.
Yeah. And he was doing a book signing there, and I was like, oh man, after Chuck, we can come back and see him.
Uh-huh.
But he was gone by the time we got there. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll just buy one of the signed books. But he only signed book plates.
Okay.
Which, in a way, is the same thing.
Explain what a book plate is, because I'm always foggy on it.
A book plate is literally a sticker. And they sign, it's a sticker that, like, a lot of people do it for their libraries.
Yeah.
Like, if some people feel that their library is worth merit. Like, this book was in the library of me, like... It's like a pedigree almost for CBC Comics.
Yeah.
But a book plate is literally just a sticker. Sometimes they have filigree on the edges.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's literally just a white sticker,
Uh-huh.
and an author will sign it, and you can stick it on the inside of your book.
Instead of actually having the book signed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
In case they ran out of books.
See, that's the thing. Like, you joke, but my obviously, you touched on it last. I touched on it in the beginning here. I no longer work for Barnes and Noble, the bookstore, whatever you want to call it. Spent a good 10 years there. Loved that loved that place. Still love that place. I will forever buy my books from Barnes and Noble. But it's time to move on. A couple weeks before I left, we did a book signing with Craig Carlson. He's an Enfield local. He was from Enfield.
Yeah.
And he wrote a book called Pancakes in Paris because he opened a breakfast shop in Paris.
Okay.
But
was it American food or
with American breakfast food, which in Paris they don't do breakfast.
What?
Breakfast is not a thing there. They don't like.
Is it just fruit and cheese for them? I don't know. Is that like dumb of me?
Is that racist?
Is that really bad of me? Because Europeans eat so well compared to us sloppy Americans.
It's very true. Yeah, like they during when he came to the store for the signing, he was reading from his book a little bit.
Okay.
And like he took Q&A. Apparently, like all they drink there is espresso. Coffee is like their translation for coffee is sock water. Like they are disgusted by coffee. Coffee is just it's so below them. But he did a signing at our store, and the store that I worked in was smaller, so we rarely had very large signings. We had a lot of local authors. We had a lot of kids authors come in. We never really had anything enormous. Like we had the author of the very popular kids book series, Fancy Nancy, come in. That was a big one. Other than that, like the old store that I worked in, we had like Tomie dePaula, who did Stregonona, one of the best kids books ever written. My mom used to read to me all the time. That was really neat. We had Emeril Lagasse, who was kind of a dick. Not kind of a dick, but like people brought stuff for him.
Right.
Here's Emeril, I made this for you, and like afterwards he left it for us to throw out for him. And
What was
like,
like food? Did someone like make food?
No, they made cards and
okay.
You know. But yeah.
He's a chef. Oh, I'm gonna make it my famous plate of blah blah blah.
Gross. and we had Laura Ingram too.
Okay.
Laura, the Ann Coulter wannabe. Yep. She told me that we were gonna take back America.
Oh.
But we had Craig Carlson, who's an Enfield local.
Yep.
He's a very nice guy. And like I was like, okay, I was working alone that day. It was just me on that signing, which is a little scary, but you know, set up the chairs, set up all the chairs we had a huge space. We had upwards of 60 books to sell, which is big for us. We don't really normally we'll get like 10 people. And before he even starts speaking, we're out of books. And like people are still showing up, and like people are literally grabbing books by the handful. So like I managed to find a couple more, and I'm trying to distribute them, and like, you know, people are like, oh, hey, I need another copy. I'm like, you need more than one? You have to have more than one, because there are people back there who have 0, and you already have one. You need more than one? Yeah, well, yeah. And like I found out these people know him. They're like friends with him. It's like you can get a book whenever you want. You can get a signature whenever you want. Anyways,
if you're friends, you could have ordered this ahead of time.
But I'm not. This has nothing to do with Craig. Craig was an amazing man. His assistant was very kind, even though like we didn't have a PA system. We weren't expecting this to be so big, you know. And we ran out of books, and it got to the point where I had to find book plates. That's what the story comes around to. I had to find book plates, and I was like, hey, if you didn't get a book, we're gonna have some book plates signed. We're gonna special order some books in for you. We'll get the books in. We'll put the book plate in. Like, that's literally all I could do. People were furious. I don't blame them.
Right.
But it sucked.
There's some things you can't predict.
Man, did it suck. But yeah, I mean, the publisher sent us the books that they anticipated we would sell.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's one of those things that like he was really cool. Like, and he was the first like 15 people who got their book signed got a voucher for a free breakfast. But you had to go to Paris. You had to go to a shop in Paris, which is so large. Like his shop was successful. He opened a second location, and he's like planning on a third one now. Like,
Still in Paris?
Yeah. Like he's a hit in Paris. Like he's a big deal there. Like his restaurant is, and like his book was a pretty big seller. I mean, it helps that he was from Enfield, but it was a cool experience, but also kind of sucked. His fans were very cool for the most part, but this is another really big tangent. Don't care. This is my return.
We started to talk about Blizzard.
We almost talked about Blizzard. Yeah, because BlizzCon is happening right now. One of those cons that like it's kind of on my list.
Is this day one? Is it a 3-day?
I think it started yesterday.
Okay.
If I had to guess, it's probably 3-day.
Oh, right. Today's Saturday.
Excuse me.
I don't even know what date it is anymore.
It is Saturday. Yeah.
Okay.
So we had to get this done.
I'm lost.
And the board was giving us shit, so I was kind of freaking out.
So, new info from Overwatch came out.
Yeah.
From Blizzard.
Yep.
And that's a thing that we've been watching because a bunch of us play.
We've never even had our Overwatch episode.
We haven't.
I know.
But like, it's evolved so much, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah.
And but like, usually a game comes out, and like in the first week or 2 weeks, we'll talk about it. And like we might, depending on what the kind of game, the kind of game it is, you know, if it's a campaign, we've already finished it, or we've gotten really far in it, we've put enough hours into it, and have a basic idea of what the mechanics are and how it's going to run. But what's been happening with Overwatch is that Blizzard understands it's a new thing to a lot of people, and so they're paying attention to how it's getting used and how it's getting played. And they're changing things as they go. So once in a while, a new patch comes out, and they're like, "Oh, we reduced the speed of McCree's bullets by X percent, and we've increased the damage output by this percentage, and the move speed, and how Diva's shields regenerate, and just all kinds of stuff." And if you'd never looked at this stuff, you would I don't know if you would really notice in the gameplay, besides like when a control changes or something,
right?
But
which it's rare when they completely change it. I think Diva is one of the few times they've changed.
There's a different button.
Yeah, like, and they changed how it functions. It does the same thing, but like, I can't even remember what it used to be. But now it's like on a time, and it recharges now.
It used to be a longer cooldown.
Yeah,
and now it has. There's like a 1 second before you can use it again, where it used to be like 6 or something.
Yeah.
But like it has to reload before. So if you could hold it up for like 8 seconds, you have to like let it reload for 8 seconds to get the 8 seconds back.
Right.
So if it only reloads for 2 seconds, you're only getting 2 seconds use out of it. Is what it is now.
Right.
I believe. I think that's what it is.
I hate that thing. I hate Divas so much.
And everything just disappears into it.
Yep.
It's like a warp zone.
Yeah. It's awful. Even
Even if I shoot like one of Farrah's impact missiles like near it, and it still swallows it, and the impact doesn't even bounce right anywhere. So what was the last one? When Anna came out. When Anna was a brand new character, because as they've been going, they've like been like teasing and hinting like new stuff and ongoing gameplay and on like new maps to come out, and sometimes there's like a leak or a hint or even just a name, and everyone starts speculating because it's like it's going to change the game maybe.
One character can completely change the meta of the game.
Yeah. And so a lot of us thought it was going to be Somber because that's a name that we've been hearing a lot.
Yep.
And then we got Anna, and it's like, is Anna Sombra? And then they're like, oh, we're not releasing Sombra yet. And it's like, okay, so it's 200 people? It's 200 people! And there is still Doomfist is still speculated to come out in the future.
Oh, because the Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So, Sombra is the new release.
Yep. They just announced yesterday. And she's totally different from... Like, if you haven't played Overwatch, play Overwatch. It's a fantastic game. Even people who... Because it's a first-person shooter, competitive only, there's no campaign. I remember I played the beta because my friend Adam, who we will eventually get on the show, was big into it because we bonded over Hearthstone, and then we started talking about like Blizzard games. Overwatch came out. Oh my god, Overwatch. Played the beta. Loved it. So much fun. So I bought it like the day after it came out, and I was like, cool, I can't wait to play the campaign. There is no campaign. I didn't even research it. It's just online competitive gaming. Where was I going with that?
Play Overwatch.
Yeah, play Overwatch.
One of the new things they're going to come out with is like an arcade mode.
Yeah.
Where it's like you versus a horde or so.
Yep.
Which is a thing that they did for
Halloween.
their Halloween special.
Which is like the main thing I want to talk about with, at least with Overwatch. Like this isn't going to turn into an Overwatch episode, hopefully, because Colin will be pissed.
We'll try and keep it short.
They've been doing amazing things, like, because initially it was like, hey, you can play against each other with all these unique characters. You can find your character that you really adapt to, or you can have a bunch that you like, or it doesn't matter.
If you're versatile, it might depend on the map you're on, or if you're on attack or defense.
Yep. And like they release patches to balance the game, because some people, oh man, turns out you can do really messed up stuff with some of these characters, you know. And
at first it was just like kind of a fun to play, and then they opened up competitive ranks.
Yep.
And now there's ranking games where you could play and like see how good you really are, and not just leveling up. Where were you going with this?
I was gonna go into like over the summer, during the Summer Olympics, they had the summer games, and like, because every time you level up, you get a loot box with stuff in it. There's hundreds of stuff to collect, whether it's character animations,
new
outfits,
skins on your character.
skins. Like, you know, my favorite character is this guy Torbjorn. He builds turrets. He's like a mechanic, but like my skin, he's a pirate. Turns him into a pirate. It's fun.
Player icons.
Yeah, player icon. Like you can unlock like up to and over 50 things for each character, and there's like 20 I can't remember how many characters there are. There's at least 20, 25. So they release these loot boxes with like Olympics themed skins. They're only available for a certain amount of time. They come out with a new map, new characters. Like you can buy loot boxes, but you earn one every time you level up. So technically you could play this game with never spending a dime except for buying the actual game. And you still get all the stuff. Ana didn't cost anything.
Right.
The new map didn't cost anything. Right. The weekly brawls change. It's like Hearthstone. That changes every week. The new characters coming out with Sombra and the new map. $0. They're not charging anything.
Whereas other games, like you have to, it's a thing to start buying a season's pass.
Yep.
Not a thing to like new.
So you can get all the DLC.
You know, it's like a couple years old now. Of getting the season's pass, and it's like, well, I really love BioShock Infinite, and I want every expansion, every new additional content.
There's only 2, right? There's just the one.
I think
the 2-parter for the.
It was like 3.
I can't remember. I played the first part.
It was like 2.5.
It was disappointingly short, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I fought a Big Daddy, but as Booker, can you believe it?
And like. Call of Duty is famous for that.
Yeah.
And them doing their expansion packs, and
Halo would do it too.
Yeah.
Back in the day. And typically it's like $15 for a new map pack.
For one pack, or it's like another $50 for like the next 4 maps.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it might not come out for another 2 months or so. And sometimes it's a way of like, well, why couldn't you just put this in the original full game? You sold me half of a game. And now you're still working on it, and you're going to call it DLC. But like, it could have been the game on its own, but you just didn't finish it in time, or like didn't want.
Which they could have done with Overwatch. They could have just released it like, oh hey, right now you can just play 6-on-6 and have fun. Well, maybe we'll come out with the rest of it later. It's like Street Fighter, you know?
Yeah.
But Blizzard seems to be the company that just can't do anything wrong. I mean, obviously they have World of Warcraft, Diablo, huge games. Hearthstone is enormous.
StarCraft.
StarCraft. Here, their MOBA, Heroes of the Storm, which isn't the biggest game, but a lot of people do dig it. Doesn't Larry Xeraxis, doesn't he play Heroes of the Storm?
No, he plays Smite.
No, that's what it is. He plays Smite.
Yeah.
But Blizzard makes really good games, and when everyone was like, "Oh my, they're coming out with a first-person." I remember the first year we went to PAX, we saw it there, and I was like, "What is this?" Because like you just saw a lot of Tracer. Tracer was like and they cost some shit for that too. Like remember like the Tracer pose?
Yeah.
And like
they were like, "Oh, it's too sexual," and why would the character just stand there and show off her butt? And they were like, "All right, well, I guess it's a thing."
They changed it, but they didn't change it good enough. It was a big deal. That everyone seems to have forgotten about now.
I got that pose for her, and it's locked in.
But it's one of those games that just I can't remember the last time I put this much time into a game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think since Halo. Like
I think I've got at least like 80 hours.
Yep. At least like it's a lot of hours, and this is a game that's strictly online multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's not like Halo or Halo Reach where I can go and just play like horde mode or play through the campaign.
Or bots or
yeah.
One of the things we were joking about the other day, because we were talking about either the updates or the expansion map, and they want to do a constant arcade mode, and then Sombra, and I made some kind of joke like, shouldn't they have like an intern to remind them that they need to make money?
Right, yeah.
They're like, don't they want to make additional money? You're like, hey. And it's like someone has to go, oh yeah, buy loot boxes, I guess.
Yeah.
First, I guess we need a reason to make them buy a loot box, because that's all we're really selling besides the game itself.
That's the thing, though. Do you think...
They don't charge you for maps. They don't charge you for skins.
Anything.
But it's also... The loot boxes are randomized, because you don't know what you're going to get out of a loot box. So you could spend money on it, not get what you want, and then have to buy more.
Yeah. At the very least, because you can get duplicates. I've got a loot box with 4 duplicates, all stuff that I have, even though there's still hundreds of things that I haven't unlocked yet. But at least in that, they give you the coins, like a little bit of currency, so you can buy some of the stuff.
I wish it was more coins.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they're not charging for anything, you know. And I think, do you think it's a strategic choice? We're not going to charge for the DLC. We're not going to charge for characters, because then people might be more apt to purchase more loot boxes. I think after combining, like, the game cost $60 when it came out, and after all the loot boxes I bought, I've probably spent about $200 in this game.
To have a PS4, you also have to buy the PlayStation Plus.
Right.
To be online.
I mean, but who doesn't have that, you know?
I wouldn't have if I was still on PlayStation 3.
Right. But, like, there was a time where once a week I'd buy 5 loot boxes. I was like, $5 a week? I can spare that. Like, have a little fun with the game. And then the summer games and the Halloween, you have a certain amount of time, and, like, you can't buy or for Halloween you could buy it, but they were really expensive.
Yeah.
Summer games, you couldn't buy the exclusive stuff. You had to get them in loot boxes.
Yeah.
So people were buying loot boxes by the ton. Like, I think I probably spent at least $40 or $50 just on summer games loot boxes.
Really?
Yeah. Over the span of it, like, you know, I'll just get 10 right now. Or no, you get 11 for $10. Like, this is the deal, you know.
Yeah, but you'll get like 50 for $40.
Exactly. That's how they get you. So, like, I think because they don't charge for, you know, it would be a little bit different if it was like, you know, I could buy a loot box now, but, like, you know, in 2 months in 2 weeks the new DLC comes out and I'm gonna have to buy that.
Right.
So it for all I know, it's intentional. I mean, I have no idea. I've literally done, you know, zero research into this.
Well, even if we asked, I don't know if they would tell us.
Yeah.
Like,
what's your business strategy for Overwatch?
Like, they could.
Can I get a prospectus?
They could be honest and be like, "We just want to give you guys this stuff," or it's like, you know, we have a plan, but we're not going to.
Maybe they're just a good fucking company who just knows how to do business well and make really good video games. Mm-hmm. It's possible. I mean, they kind of single-handedly carried esports for a little while there with StarCraft, and I mean, Overwatch now has their own league with, like, countries and sponsorships and paid, you know, it's...
Yeah, we should get a sponsorship.
It's amazing. Like, there were times where I was like, we're pretty good at this game. And then we get wrecked. But, like, we also... What I like about how we... This is turning into an Overwatch episode. What I like about how we play, at least me in particular, we have the characters that we like and we use them.
Yeah.
Like, you know, comp is one thing. Team comp is big in Overwatch. With characters that counter other characters. That's what I'm looking for, counters.
Yeah.
You know, this character is strong against this character, but this character is very weak against, like, you know. And I just use the same 2 guys. If we're on defense, I'm definitely using the one guy, maybe sometimes on attack. Otherwise, I'm using the one other guy, and that's it. I have the 2 guys that I like to use. Like you, Joe, and Colin, you guys definitely switch it up a lot more than I do, but it's just fucking fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun game, and I really like Blizzard for it.
And if you stick with it, like you'll be aware of the changes they make and how they keep trying to improve it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that they just make it and put it out there and be like, "All right, we're done with this, so just play it."
They could have released the game and never touched it. I'd probably still be playing.
Josh from Cool by Proxy works as a game developer. I don't know exactly what it is that he does, but he had said he's like, F Blizzard. No, I don't think he said it that way, but he was like, I hate how they can afford to make a mini video, like a short movie, to introduce their new characters.
Yeah.
And every time a new character, they can make this beautiful CG. It's an entire story, it has a beginning, middle, and end, and it gets you involved with the character and what's happening. And they do that every time.
I still remember it was in your the old studio in your basement when you
The
pulled
first
up
trailer.
Yeah, you pulled up the trailer with Tracer and Winston fighting Widowmaker and Reaper.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And I was like, "What are you watching?" And it was a long video, and I ignored the first part, and then I kind of peeked in, and I was like, "This looks incredible." And you're like, "It's a new Blizzard first-person shooter." And I was like, "What? Blizzard doesn't do that." And then we went to PAX East a couple months later, and I was like, "Holy shit, this game looks amazing!" It was a very, very, very hyped game, huge hype for that game. And then it came out, and it blew everyone away. There's competitive leagues now, teams, sponsorships. It's fantastic. It's a beautiful game. Go play Overwatch. And then the new Pokemon comes out soon. We're going to be talking about Pokemon in a couple months or a couple weeks.
Are we?
Yeah.
And how
are you gonna get a DS this time? You almost got one last time.
I've got a Pokemon game. It's on my phone.
God damn it. Are you still playing Go?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Have they updated it at all?
No.
They will. I have hope.
I hope so. Yeah. Hopefully someday. I mean, I finally evolved to Gengar, so
There you go.
maybe I guess
I never got my Raichu.
Maybe I'll stop now.
Yep. I only ever saw the one Pikachu.
I hit level 20, and suddenly all these other Pokemon became common to me that weren't common before that. So I got a bunch of Cubones, and a ton of Ghastlies showed up. So I'm still on. I guess I'm still in Pallet Town or whatever that is.
You're still in
the Gen 1.
Yeah,
it's still Gen 1.
I can't remember the name of the region. Joe's gonna kill me.
Kanto? Is it Kanto?
It might be Kanto. I don't know, man. I'm so out of it. But yeah, the new Pokemon game comes out, I believe, later this month.
I was at my other job at a theme park, and we went on break because when the park's closed, we just do work crew, and then we drive away because nothing's open inside the park. So we go away to get lunch. And I was driving with our friend Jess Barber and another Jess from the park. And so I'm driving, and they're like, she's looking up the leaks of the new Pokemon that are going to be in the new game. And they're just scrolling through, and I'm listening to both of these Jesses go, "Ooh, oh, that's cute, and that's shiny," and just every scroll was some kind of
We should have Jess on when the new Pokemon comes out. Remember we had Jess and Joe on?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was one of my favorite.
Joe still talks about that.
Yep, that was a great episode.
Anyway,
but yeah, BlizzCon is happening right now, which I almost because my friend Adam, big Blizzard fan. He's really good at Hearthstone. That's what we bonded on. We were coworkers, transferred from another store, and we bonded on Hearthstone, and it spawned a friendship, which was neat. And BlizzCon was coming up, and I know he's wanting. It's in California, I believe.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I kind of maybe I could apply for a media badge, and maybe if you wanted to go, if you had the means to get there, I could you could report for us and blah blah. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But I missed the window, but whatever. And then I see Beatdown Boogie posts that they were denied media credentials for BlizzCon.
Oh, that's right.
This is Beatdown Boogie.
Right.
They have I can't remember the exact number.
They've made Mario Warfare.
Yep.
They have some of the most beautiful cosplay music videos.
And some of the most popular cosplay videos.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
in the millions of hits.
Was their followers?
Yeah, they have
subscribers
on YouTube alone. They have 672,000 subscribers. They're 99 away from 673,000. Yeah. And they were denied media. And like they weren't even like they're just like, hey, we didn't make the cut at BlizzCon this year, but we're gonna be at this. Look for us here. They're still fucking everywhere. Micah's living the dream. Go back and listen to our interview with Micah. By the way, it was a 2-parter that we did earlier last year. One of the coolest groups of people
easily
that we've had the pleasure of associating with. Even they were, and I responded to him. I was like, I can think of 670,000 reasons as to why you guys should be at BlizzCon. And he's like, maybe, our vision doesn't match what they're looking for. And I was like, you are a stand-up citizen.
Well, that's how you stay in good terms.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, people at Blizzard know what Beatdown Boogie is. And if suddenly Beatdown Boogie was like, oh, F Blizzard, I'm going to be bitter about this, and then there's 600,000 fans either react with them or against them.
Yeah.
So either they'll lose followers or they'll cause a headache for Blizzard, which they wouldn't want to do, because then maybe they'll still get in next year.
Yeah, exactly. So, he responded back. He's like, maybe... but hey, we're still going to be at this. They teamed up with Riot, it looks like. I think, if I recall Micah's post correctly, they teamed up with Riot to film their League of Legends cosplay video at Worlds a couple weeks ago. Amazing shit.
Our friend Victoria Miller Cosplay is in both of their New York Comic Con videos, but that's while they were filming.
She blew it away.
That's while they were filming the cosplay contest, because they had a lot of plugs for Autodesk.
Yeah, they're the company that works with them to send them out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was watching the hashtag on Instagram. I was just searching Samus, and the day Vicky was there as Samus, she was just taking over the hashtag. It was awesome. It was really cool to see. I was super happy for her because I know she busted her ass on that.
500 hours.
Unbelievable.
Yep. She sure has plans for what she wants to make next year.
I saw the post about it. But Blizzard makes good video games, and BlizzCon is happening right now, and we're really happy with the stuff that they're releasing. In summary.
Yeah.
Sombra looks rad. She's going to cost me $0. She's probably gonna torture me because the character that I use has I rely on external.
She might hack it.
Offense. Yeah, she might hack my shit. It's like booby trap.
At least it would just get shut. It looks like it'll just get shut down and not turn against you.
Yeah. Like booby trapping the drop case or whatever in Call of Duty. I know you like doing that.
Oh yeah. So it explodes.
Oh man! But speaking of the New York Comic Con video,
we just touched on New York Comic Con.
Yeah, we were at New York Comic Con earlier last month. It is our how many? Listen, we went. I've been with you in 2009, 2010, 2012, and 13. You missed 14.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep. And then we went 15, 16.
Yeah.
So we've gone a couple times.
Yeah, a
few times.
Yeah.
I found that this year I was more excited.
Mm-hmm.
The past couple of years it's been kind of neat. We're going for a day. I'm not looking forward to the drive. But this year I was really pumped, and it ended up being one of my favorite New York Comic Cons in recent memory.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was the best one ever. I think the best New York Comic Con was the year Colin came with us. I think.
Did the smaller cons that you made it to this year have an effect on that? If you got some stuff out of the way about going to Massive Con or
right. I don't think so.
Or since we did Boston for only one day, did you have more to look forward to by going to New York?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because I like New York a lot, obviously because they get a lot of the top artists, but I love walking the floor too, seeing all the it's really just it's sensory overwhelming.
It really is.
But I'm actually having trouble recalling it because it was so and I've done so much since then.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really had time to it was cheap, in past New York Comic Cons I have dropped many dollars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But like this year, I think I took out $100. 20 of it went toward gas or something like that, and then the rest of it, like I bought a couple pins. I bought an art book from Ryan Otley. Excuse me. But like sketches and stuff. Didn't really need any.
There was parts that were fun, then there were parts where I could tell like we were missing out on a few things. Because I got there and I immediately got in line.
You hauled ass.
Because I wanted to get to Doug Mankey? Doug Monk?
Yes, we'll never know.
One of those names we don't know how to pronounce.
We talked with a very good friend, and we talked with him. And we'll still never know.
I never got her name. I was in line behind a girl who was cosplaying Cassandra Cain.
She was really cool.
Batgirl, Black Bat. It's changed since New 52, whatever. My favorite Batgirl. And she looked amazing in her cosplay. And what was really cool was that she had no problem chatting up the mid-30-year-old creepy hairy dude behind her who's at a comic convention. Which a lot of times people are just like, I don't want to talk to this creep. But like, luckily, I was a presentable enough guy.
Jeez, you don't give yourself enough credit.
But like, it was a really cool conversation. We talked about how much she digs Cassandra Cain. He talked about Doug and some other shows that she's been to and everything. It was really cool. Where was I going with this?
You were missing out on
Doug Mank's name, and he was kind of late to getting to the show. I don't care. He's like one of my favorite artists. I had him sign
one of the best Green Lantern artists.
I loved the Justice League Elite run. I had him sketch a character that he designed specifically for the book, and I was like, "No shit, you made this character?" He's like, "Oh yeah, it's just." And has she been used since? I'm like, no, she hasn't.
He was really cool.
Yeah, he was great.
He is a rare appearance for him too.
Mm-hmm. In like the 6-7 years we've been going to conventions, I have not ever seen him in this area, this territory. But yeah, while I was waiting in line, Jared was walking Artist Alley floor. And usually that's the thing that you say we like to do together. And at one point we're walking by, and I remember happening upon Charlie Adler? No, Cliff Rathburn.
Yeah.
Cliff. Yeah, like, he's next to Ryan Otley, and I go, what? And your response was, I didn't know either. Like, neither of us had any knowledge he was going to be there.
Yeah.
I don't remember. He was never on the site that I saw. Like, I didn't see any advertisements saying his name, and I was pouring through, all the names, and I never recognized him in my research or anything. And I was like, like, we had the same reaction.
Because I hunted him down not hunted, but like, Boston Comic-Con, the first year Colin came with us, it was when they were in the Hines, I think the first year, like when Ryan Otley was there, and I was like, wow, he's expensive. When you got the Captain Boomerang from Ransom.
Yep.
I think that was our second Boston Comic-Con. I think it was the second one.
Yeah.
I remember Cliff Rathburn was going to be there. I was like, oh my god, I can bring my my Walking Dead that I got signed by Robert Kirkman earlier in the. It was around the same time.
Yeah.
But I remember I wanted a sketch from Cliff, and like I knew because he was on the list. I wanted it because he's a cool guy too, and he's really one of the best inkers. But I had no idea he was there. Like I wanted to find Ryan Otley because I'm a big fan, and I saw right next to him was Cliff, and I was like, what the fuck?
This is a surprise.
Yeah.
Also bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish I knew this guy was going to be here. I almost bought a page from him too.
Yeah.
I was real close. And it's like one of those secret pages that no one really knows about. Because he had a bunch of original art and we were looking through it, and I found a page that eventually got colored, which, what do you mean? Walking Dead is in black and grays, or white and grays. White, black, white, gray.
There it is.
And this was in the back of Walking Dead or Invincible? It had to be Walking Dead, right?
Walking Dead, I think. I can't remember, honestly.
Because Kirkman writes both of them.
Yeah. And Cliff has worked on both of them.
Yeah. And so what happened was, like, it's Rick waking up, like, in the hospital with, like, this new robotic mechanical hand. And it's like a futuristic hospital. And then it moves on, and there's like a superhero costume hanging on behind him. And it goes on to become like a superhero story, like an Invincible-esque like superhero. The governor's there, and Michonne is there, and they're in supervillain hero costumes and everything. And it was only like, what, 3 or 4, maybe 5 pages?
It was really short.
Yeah. It was basically only acting as a tease. But it's like, I kind of want this tease.
Yep.
Like to own a page of like this, to be in on the joke that like people rarely, like no one who watches the show knows this joke happened. They just know that somehow it transfers from a comic book. But I didn't have, what was it, 300, I think?
I think it was 3.
I wasn't ready to part with the $300
Yeah.
for that. I don't know if I regret it or not yet. Come back to me in a few months.
I mean, hey, it's been there this long.
Yeah?
You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I got my Doug Bank. I also waited in line for Alan Tudyk.
Yep.
Every time I said every time I was going to say his name, I was going to add a dick. So we're up to Alan 11 Dick.
Is it 11 Dick? Yeah.
And he signed the base for my Malcolm Reynolds gun. And he was
So
really
now
cool.
it's Alan Tudyk,
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Fillion,
and Jewel Staite.
Jewel Staite, yep.
Yeah. Zoe was supposed to be on there too, but she canceled last.
So
Anyway, yeah, it's
so-
okay. It's okay.
Are you trying to get assemble the, like,
I would like to get as many as possible.
how far are you going to branch out?
I'm going to run out of room.
Yeah, like, because you're going to wind up like that guy with the Batman belt. And it just looks
covered.
sloppy,
Yeah.
gross,
Yeah.
sweaty. But, I mean, I think,
When Alan signed it, he also like put a little quote in there of "I'm a leaf on the wind,"
Mhm.
and it's like, oh, don't cry.
He gets it.
Don't-
He gets it. He embraces what he was in that show.
Yeah.
But, like, are you going to get Adam Baldwin to sign it?
I don't know. Maybe the bottom.
So it's not visible.
You have to work to see it.
But it's still there. It's complete. I'm really jealous of that, by the way. I don't even like Firefly, and I think that's really, really, like, every time it's really cool.
Thanks.
It's a cool thing,
Thanks.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not one for celebrity autographs, although I almost ponied up to meet Millie Bobby Brown,
Yeah.
who plays 11
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Stranger Things. Like, I was texting my wife about it, and she was like, oh my God, do it.
Why aren't you in line yet?
But, like, I didn't have anything for her to sign. Like, can you sign my badge? You know, because, like, the 8x11, that's kind of, I'm not going to hang that up.
That's what everyone gets.
Oh, that's a picture of a 12-year-old girl that I paid money to meet.
She was in a TV show. Everyone loved it.
But I remember as a joke at our local comic shop, he had some autographed pictures, and he had one of Melissa Joan Hart, like, in the back from, like, way back when she was doing movies.
Yeah.
And I bought it for my brother because my brother loved Clarissa Explains It All.
Oh, I was going to ask who was that.
Yep.
And I was like, no, that's not Sabrina.
It was Sabrina, yeah.
Oh,
Same.
Sabrina and Clarissa are the same person.
Yes. It's both Melissa Joan Hart. Yeah.
That shows how much I pay attention.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, but New York Comic Con, it was a lot of fun. It was, I really liked, I think my favorite part was watching you work, because normally you do that on your own.
Oh, the exclusive buy?
Yeah, but, like, I got to follow you around.
And I was a little behind too.
Yeah.
Usually, like, I'll try to get in for a couple sketches, and then I bail, and then I run to all the exclusives.
The thing is, they're on complete opposite ends
Yeah.
of the convention floor.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you cannot get further away.
Well, there's a few that are in the middle. So, like, the
Right.
show floor that has, like, all the biggest, like, kind of shop items, the Image booth, the Mattel booth, the Hallmark booth, the Sideshow Collectibles, all those things. The Diamond Distributor, it's all... Because they're the booths that'll have, like, the New York show only. Like, this piece is limited to 150 pieces, and you're allowed one. Or sometimes it's things like, oh, you have to go downstairs to get a raffle
wristband
ticket.
first,
Get a
yeah.
wristband, then come back up and you can buy it. It's like, well, the wristbands are gone now, so don't even bother. Sometimes it gets complex, and you have to, like, really pay attention and know where you're going. Then they'll release a certain amount each day. So if you're going on Sunday and everyone bought them up on Thursday, you're not just SOL.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't realize, like, was that, like, a purposeful thing that you were gonna, like, watch me do that?
No, I just wanted to
for me, like, we happened to have the time, and I was in the area, and I was like, I'm going to start doing this.
Here we go.
I'm sorry. I know we could walk around and look at cool stuff, but I got to go put my credit card in this machine.
But, like, I had already walked around the block a little bit when you were waiting in line for Doug.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of I had a little bit of an eye for it, and I was like, there's more stuff over here.
Yeah.
I saw more vinyl figures over here. Which I went back to try. I tried looking for that Popeye skeleton.
Yeah.
Online. I can't find it. And I can't remember the name of the company.
Okay. I'll look for it.
But, like, I was telling my wife about it, and she was like, that sounds really cool. And I was like, I didn't buy it. And it was actually pretty reasonable.
Like a skeleton figure of Popeye.
Yeah. And it was a really cool vinyl figure.
It was
figure.
a neat pose.
Yeah.
It looked really neat. Especially, like, in the case with the lighting they had on it. Just.
And it was, I really liked it. But, like, I was just about to leave my old job for the new job.
Yeah.
And the new job it was kind of a scary time for me, but it's all done now. Now I know I'll have a steady paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if I can find it online. But
so I made at least 3 laps around Artist Alley.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw about 10% of the show floor this year.
Oh yeah. Yep. You know what I miss?
What's that?
What I miss? The first couple of years we went, like, remember when Justin would help us get the pro badges, and we got to go in, like,
a little early
on Thursday.
Yeah,
I think a little early.
Thursday.
Yeah. And it was just for pros.
Mm-hmm.
And even I think it was early Friday too, back before there was a Thursday.
Yeah.
There was like that 1 hour, 2 hours was just for professionals and stuff
before
like that.
Before they would let the public in. Yeah.
And, like, DC had their specific booth. They had the giant pictures of, like, Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And it was, like, right in the midst of, like, Blackest Night, Brightest Day, which is my personal favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And they had, like, the tables, and
the
it had
pins.
all the art. They had the pins. They had the artist name. Like, it's like, okay, this hour it's going to be Jeff Johns, Ivan Rice, who does Flash?
Frankovia?
No.
France.
Yep, you're getting there. Francis Manpaul.
Yeah.
And then they rotate out, and then the next group of artists, you know, like, they had the DC and the Marvel booth.
Yeah.
Which, like, don't really happen anymore.
Not to the same extent.
Yeah, like, it's a lot smaller, smaller footprint. The Image still has their same booth. I love the Image booth.
Mm-hmm. Brett was there with his company, and I think he, like, got a bunch of stuff from Image because they were having, like, buy 2 get 1 or buy 1 get 2. Yeah, they had, like, some pretty good deals, which he capitalized on.
And Image, I mean, let's be honest here. Image has the best books out right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff that I've shifted so hard to independent. Like, it's just they're just the most entertaining. Which I'm really, really anxious to talk about. Shoe. we're gonna get there though. But New York Comic Con, it was a really good show this year. Aside from the line,
getting in, that
was
kind of crazy.
Could use some work, to say the least. But at the end of the day, we unknowingly cut hundreds of people.
Oh yeah, easy.
Hundreds
Probably
of people
1,000, to be honest,
who were waiting in line for I don't even know how long.
They were told to do a thing, and no one at some point, no one else was told that, and chaos.
I saw one person with a staff shirt and a radio near the line, and they weren't even concerned with the line.
Not even paying attention to it.
So the line, like,
for a good while, we were just standing in this street in New York.
Yeah.
Like, not on the sidewalk, in this street. I was on the double yellow line.
Yeah.
Just right there.
Yep.
And I wasn't really worried because I was surrounded by, like, 100 other people.
Yeah, and everyone was just as confused as the person next to him. But, I mean, we made our way in relatively quickly.
Yeah.
I guess I can't complain too much, although
Could have been worse.
I do feel residual karma for cutting all those people. But it was a great show. I had a blast. I mean, it was packed. We went on a Friday. It was still packed. I remember back in the day, Friday was the calm day. Back when we do multiple days, it's like we did Friday, Saturday. And it's like, Friday and Saturday's insane. What happened on Friday? And now everything is just insane.
Yeah.
Cosplay's incredible.
We got to visit a friend that we made recently who lives in Texas, who we saw in New York.
Yeah, and they were super cool. We'd never met in person.
This was the first time.
Like that was one of the weirdest episodes because like you found them, and like we had Chris from Boxes in Action on a couple.
Like
months
I posted
ago.
a picture of a box that I got.
Yeah,
and he liked it. And I think maybe commented on it, and then I looked and I was like, "Oh, this is his box."
Yeah, and like we hit him up like. You know, you're like, hey, what about this guy? I was like, yeah, cool, let's try for it. And you hit him up, and we were recording with him 2 hours later. Really cool guy, just kind of a spur of the moment episode about something neat we found on the internet, which is, I guess, the epitome of this show. And we found their booth like toward the end of the show. We literally had like 20 minutes left.
Yeah, they were like about to turn the lights off.
And it was Chris and his wife. I am terrible and don't recall her name.
Me neither.
But they were two of the coolest people I've ever met.
Yeah. Just to walk and be like, hey, we talked to you on the internet like a month ago.
Yeah.
And they were wicked receptive, super open, like chatting with us. And one of the fun things is like hearing how excited they are about what they do. Mm-hmm. And he's like, we're talking to Todd McFarlane next week, and we're about a new box.
He was on the phone with McFarlane's rep when we walked up to him.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're supposed to say that. But no, he actually announced that he's working with McFarlane.
Like the prototype is he already posted. And she was talking to, and like there's sometimes where like the couple, like you could tell who's into their job, and like if the wife is just kind of like there to hang out and do
or if the boyfriend's there,
or like do
know,
transactions.
Yeah.
It's like, she's like into the business, and
she was talking up just as much as he was.
Mm-hmm, not shy, and like talking about who they've met and what they're dealing with. One of the fun things was they were like talking about some problems they had, where it was like everyone thinks we're some kind of grab bag.
Yeah, like a loot box.
Because people come up and they're like, "So what are these?" They're like, they're comic boxes. Oh, there's comics in them. Like, how many comics? Like, it's an empty box.
You store your comics in them.
And they're like, okay, so nothing's inside, and I'm like, correct. You're buying the box with a bunch of art on it, and they had to like put a sign like under their sign.
They flipped their sign that said not a loot box or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
Not a grab box.
Yeah,
because there were other places that were like you could buy a box and you don't know what's going to be in it, and like that's part of the treasure seeking aspect of it. It's like you might get something worth $100, you might get something worth $10 for the $30 that you're spending. And people thought that's what they were, and they had to deal with that all weekend.
They were so cool, though.
They were.
I
fun.
was.
And like what's fun? I keep interrupting you.
No.
They're also like willing to talk shop with us, like business, and like, well, the area cost X dollars, but the tables don't come with it. And they're like, well, how many tables do you want? I'm like, I don't just get a table. They're like, no, that costs extra. It's like, we don't need any tables.
Yeah.
How many chairs do you want?
Fuck the table.
They cost extra. We don't need chairs. We'll just sit on the floor.
Yep. And they had a great setup too, and like they were wheeling and dealing as we were talking to them. Mm-hmm. Like people would come up and like, I did get to witness, what's in it, how many comics are in it. It was we witnessed, like, so it wasn't just a story; it was legitimately happening.
I bought 2 boxes right there.
It took a lot for me to not buy like every single box they had. Like I was, again, the job situation. I only brought so much money. I was like, no, I need to resist.
Some were already box shaped, like they aren't refoldable.
Yeah.
So I had to get the folding ones because I didn't want to just carry a box around. But and they helped me like figure out how to break it down to fit it into my portfolio bag, so I don't just carry around this flappy box the whole time. But yeah, it was fun, like meeting up with them.
It's just super reassuring to know that we have a pretty good track record of having good people on.
Yeah, you've been lucky.
It was really cool. It was a great way to end the show. We talked to the guys from Wormwood too.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen, I've talked about Wormwood all the time, but they make really cool gaming supplies like for like tabletop. Really successful Kickstarters and all that stuff. Really cool people that they let me talk their ear off and question them for like the better part of like 20 minutes.
And we had to seek them out. They were in a level we didn't know existed.
Yeah, it was like the side.
They were downstairs.
No idea where it was.
But that for all the times that like I work to try and get guests on the show and like have to make the pitch and ask them, hey, will you be on our podcast? and you wanted them on, and I was like, all right, you're making the call. You know more about their stuff than I do, and it was fun, like watching JR take a turn at it, and like get invested in knowing these people and like making a bond with them essentially.
Right. Yeah. They were cool guys, and like initially I was like, we do the show. It's always an awkward thing, like we do a podcast. You want to come on? But like the guy was like, yeah, 1 second, and like he brings over like their social guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, I thought you guys were just like guys who work out of it. Like you have a media person.
You're not just a bunch of people that work in a wood shop. Yeah. I don't understand.
They've even in like the 2 years that I've known about them, they've already grown like exponentially. They're just they make quality shit, and I will forever support them unless they like vote for Trump or something. But they don't seem like the type of people who would. Ooh, I'm generalizing now. Oh well. Go and vote. Vote on Tuesday, by the way, if you haven't already. If you haven't done the early voting thing, go vote. Exercise your what is it called? Your
right.
Your
duty.
Yeah, like your I remember one time I said jury duty. I was like, oh, I have jury duty, and you're like, oh, you have to exercise your I can't remember your civic duty. That's yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You have the right to vote, so go vote. That's as political as we'll probably ever get on this show. But New York Comic Con was a lot of fun this year. Mm-hmm. A lot of fun. Even I wanted more.
Oh yeah, I definitely regretted like not having more time to put into it.
And I remember we were on the fence. I was like, do we do 3-day? Do we do? And I like it was let's lean toward Friday, save on hotels, save on on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Because hotels suck really bad. But it was a good show. It's good to be back. It's good. It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Keen eyes will know that it's been a long time for me. Because while we release stuff every week, like I said, keen eyes. I've been debating because I'll tell you off air.
Okay.
Later on, I've if we ever do like a trivia thing, it would be one of my trivia questions.
Okay.
I'll tell you off air though.
All right.
We are over on time though, so I think we did a good job.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I felt like I want to like cradle my mic. It was a little defiled at the beginning of last week's episode. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, but John was really going ham on it.
That wasn't the only point, too. He brings it up later on.
Oh, what am I talking into? But it was neat. I got to thank John for filling in for me.
He's a lot of fun.
Always a staunch supporter of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And a stand-up guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I guess that's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got some plans we hope work out well for the next couple episodes.
If shit works out the way we want it to work out, we have some really cool stuff coming up. And we've had like this year has been pretty amazing in terms of.
Mm-hmm.
That was really loud.
Yeah, I'm apparently too close to it.
I was like that reverberated in my ears.
I apologize.
Oh man, it's getting late. I got to get this up like right now. Okay, so keep your eyes out for some really cool stuff. It's good to be back. And Merry Christmas.
Just like, I was going to say, just like we had like all spooky episodes for Halloween for October, we're going to have nothing but Christmas episodes.
Well, we got to do Thanksgiving.
No, we're going to skip that.
True.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Christmas matters.
Christmas.
So we're going to do nothing but holiday episodes for all of December.
I'm not in the retail business anymore.
Is he lying? Can we tell? We're not sure.
I love the holidays. I worked 10 years in retail. Or I worked 9 holiday seasons.
Uh-huh.
I left the company 2 months before my 10-year anniversary, which kind of sucks. But because you get a pin, you get a little tiny pin, and it says 10 years. And you get an extra week of vacation.
I just got a 15-year pin.
It's baller. But working 10 years in retail did nothing but strengthen my I love Christmas. It's a big thing for me. Like my family's always Like as a kid, it was all about the presents, but now it's just all about family, being
Mhm.
with family. We're doing it at my house this year.
Ooh,
I know it's the first time we've ever not done Christmas at my parents' house.
neat.
It's gonna be fun. I'm a big fan. Like I walked into Home Depot this morning with my wife, and like they have all their trees up and shit.
Ugh.
Love it,
Gross.
love it. Set it up day after Halloween.
Halloween ended
My favorite
on
thing.
Monday.
My favorite thing to do at the store.
Is change over the sound.
I would put in the Christmas music
Yeah.
the day after Halloween. The day after. People. It's amazing what people pick to let ruin their day. And something as little as hearing like Holly Jolly Christmas on November 1st infuriates some people.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a little early? People are buying it. I don't think it's early.
No, they're not.
I saw a meme the other day. It was like, you seen the Muppet Christmas Carol?
No.
You never seen Muppet Christmas?
I don't watch
Fuck,
the Muppets.
man. Muppet Christmas Carol is one of the best.
Sorry, I'm an adult.
It's Michael Caine as Scrooge.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, my wife will
We,
fuck you
we have
up.
a lot of adult fans of Muppets.
Um,
A lot of good friends are fans. I understand.
It had a picture as me on October 31st, and it was a picture of the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come,
Yeah.
which is like the giant. Have you seen the movie?
No.
He looks like the Grim Reaper. He has a
Okay.
giant hood. You can't see his face. It looks terrifying. Scariest part of the movie. I always hated the end of that movie,
Okay.
but now I love it. And then it was like me on November 1st, and it was the Ghost of Christmas Present, which is like a big Santa Claus type guy. And it was the most true thing. Because like I love Halloween. I love spoopy. I love the fall.
Mhm.
But I also love Christmas. I'm a big fan. And like last year, I couldn't bust out my Christmas decorations because like I was in a basement
Yeah.
saving for a house.
Yeah.
But now we have the house. We get to unpack the tree for the first time in 2 years.
I have one string of lights I put up.
Hey,
One.
it's something.
That's it.
I have some decorations that I put like, and now I'm not in retail. I'm being. Nah, I don't want to talk about that. It's time to be ambiguous about a new job.
Kyle's gonna have to change his Stranger Things post.
Yep. But I'm looking forward to it. It should be a really cool upcoming year for us. But until then, until next week, until next year, whenever, I'm JR.
I'm Alex.
And this has been episode 242 of Opinions May Vary. The return of
Of you.
me. So, you're welcome.